You know what's one of the hardest times of the year for many people? The holidays. Christmas, New Year's Eve. Everyone around you seems happy. The TV shows perfect families. Instagram is full of beautiful dinner tables with everyone smiling. And you? You feel empty. You feel alone. You feel like something is deeply wrong with you. Maybe your family is broken. Maybe your parents are divorced or absent. Maybe the people in your family don't even like each other. Maybe you'll spend Christmas alone or with people who feel like strangers. And when you see those perfect holiday commercials, it hurts. It really hurts. Let me tell you something important. You're not broken. You're not weird. And that emptiness you feel? Saint Augustine felt it too, for years. And what he discovered changed not only his life, but the lives of millions of people for over 1,500 years. In this video, I want to share with you what Augustine learned about that restless, empty feeling in your heart. I want to show you why your imperfect Christmas might actually be more real, more honest, more meaningful than all those perfect families on TV. And I want to help you understand what that emptiness is really trying to tell you. Because here's the beautiful truth, that void you feel. It's not a mistake, it's not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's actually a sign that you were made for something greater. And Augustine spent half his life figuring this out. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about holiday loneliness, broken families, and the restless heart that keeps searching for something it can't quite name. First, let's be honest about what makes holidays so difficult, because I think many people feel this way, but nobody talks about it. Everyone pretends they're having a great time. Everyone posts their best photos. But inside, many people are struggling. The holidays are hard because we're constantly comparing our real life with an ideal that doesn't exist. You turn on the TV and you see a beautiful family. Everyone is laughing. The table is full of food. Grandma is there, aunts, uncles, cousins. Everyone is happy. Everyone gets along. It looks perfect. Then you look at your own life. Your family doesn't look like that. Maybe your parents fight. Maybe they're divorced. Maybe some family members don't even talk to each other. Maybe you don't have a big family gathering at all. Maybe you'll be alone. And the distance between what you see on TV and what you actually have, that distance hurts. It's like the world is showing you a picture of what life should be. And your life doesn't match that picture. So you feel like you failed. You feel like something is missing. You feel empty. And it's not just about family. The holidays also make us think about time. Another year is ending. What did I do this year? What did I accomplish? Did I waste my time? Am I getting older and my life is just passing by without meaning? The end of the year forces us to look at our lives, and sometimes we don't like what we see. So you have two kinds of pain happening at the same time. The pain of not having the perfect family you see everywhere, and the pain of feeling like time is slipping through your fingers and you're not living the life you wanted. This is real pain. This is not something small, and I want you to know that what you're feeling is valid. It's real, and you're not the only one who feels this way. Now let me tell you about Saint Augustine, because his story is going to surprise you. When you hear the word saint, you probably think of someone who was always holy, always perfect, always close to God. But Augustine was the opposite. Augustine was born in the year 354 in North Africa. His mother, Monica, was a devoted Christian. She prayed for him every day. She wanted him to follow God. But Augustine wanted pleasure. He wanted success. He wanted to feel good. As a young man, Augustine was brilliant. He was intelligent, charming, good with words. He became a teacher of rhetoric. He had money. He had status. He had a girlfriend. He went to parties. He enjoyed all the pleasures life could offer. But here's the thing. Even with all of that, Augustine felt empty. He felt restless. He felt like something was missing. He would be at a party, having fun, and suddenly he would feel this void inside, this sense that none of it mattered, this feeling that he was searching for something but he didn't know what. So he kept searching. He tried different philosophies. He joined a religious group called the Manichaeans. He studied, he read, he debated. He was looking for answers. He was looking for something that would fill that emptiness in his heart. And nothing worked. Nothing satisfied him. No matter how much pleasure he had, no matter how much success he achieved, no matter how much knowledge he gained, the emptiness remained. His heart remained restless. For years, Augustine lived like this, searching, trying, failing to find peace. His mother Monica kept praying for him. She never gave up, and Augustine kept running from God even though deep down he knew something was calling him. Then one day, everything changed. Augustine had a moment of crisis. He was in a garden and he was crying. He was exhausted from searching. He was tired of feeling empty. He was tired of running. And in that moment he heard a child's voice singing, "Take and read, take and read." He opened the Bible. He read a passage. And suddenly, everything became clear. All those years of searching, all that emptiness, all that restlessness, it all made sense. Augustine realized something that changed his life forever. He realized that his heart was restless because it was made for God. And nothing else could satisfy it. No amount of pleasure, no amount of success, no amount of knowledge, nothing in this world could fill that void, because that void was God-shaped. Augustine wrote one of the most beautiful sentences in Christian history. He wrote, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our heart is restless until it rests in you." Let me explain what this means. Augustine discovered that the emptiness he felt was not a problem. It was a sign. It was his soul telling him that he was made for something greater than this world. That emptiness was actually a longing for God. It was homesickness for heaven. Think about it this way. When you feel thirsty, that's not a bad thing. Thirst is your body telling you that you need water. When you feel hungry, that's your body telling you that you need food. And when you feel that deep emptiness in your heart, that's your soul telling you that you need God. Augustine spent years trying to fill that emptiness with other things, with pleasure, with success, with philosophy, but none of it worked, because you can't satisfy spiritual hunger with physical food. You can't satisfy a longing for the infinite with finite things. Now here's where this connects to you and your holiday loneliness. That emptiness you feel during Christmas. That sadness you feel when you see perfect families on TV and your family is broken. Augustine would tell you that this emptiness is not your enemy. It's actually pointing you towards something. You feel empty because you were made for perfect love. You were made for perfect family. You were made for perfect communion. And this world, with all its brokenness, can never fully give you that. Your family, no matter how good, can never be perfect. Your relationships, no matter how beautiful, will always have flaws. And so you feel that gap. You feel that distance between what you long for and what you have. And that hurts. That really hurts. But Augustine discovered that this pain is not meaningless. It's actually your soul crying out for God. The perfect family you see on TV. It doesn't exist. Those people have problems too. They fight too. They disappoint each other too. The difference is they're not showing you that part. They're showing you the fantasy. And when you compare your real life to someone else's fantasy, of course you feel inadequate. But here's the beautiful truth. God knows your life is not perfect. God knows your family is broken. God knows you feel alone. And He's not disappointed in you. He's not judging you. He's waiting for you to turn to Him with all that emptiness and let Him fill it. The emptiness you feel is actually an invitation. It's God's way of saying, "Come to me, let me love you, let me give you the peace and love you're longing for." That restless heart Augustine talked about, that's your heart. And it won't rest until it rests in God. Now let me tell you something that might surprise you. The first Christmas, it wasn't perfect at all. When you think about the birth of Jesus, you might imagine a beautiful scene, but the reality was very different. Mary and Joseph had to travel when Mary was 9 months pregnant. They arrived in Bethlehem and there was no room for them anywhere. No hotel, no house, no comfortable place. They ended up in a stable, a place for animals. Jesus was born there. His first bed was a manger, a feeding trough for animals. Think about that. The Son of God, the King of the universe, was born in poverty. He was born in a place that smelled like animals. He was born to a young couple who were probably scared and uncertain. He was born as a refugee because soon after his birth, King Herod tried to kill him, and his family had to flee to Egypt. The first Christmas was not like a holiday commercial. It was messy. It was difficult. It was far from perfect. And yet that's where God chose to enter the world. In the middle of imperfection, in the middle of poverty, in the middle of struggle. Why am I telling you this? Because your imperfect Christmas, your broken family, your loneliness, that's exactly where God wants to meet you. He didn't come into a perfect world. He came into a broken world. He didn't choose a perfect family. He chose a poor, struggling family. God is not up in heaven waiting for you to fix your life before He can love you. He's not waiting for you to have a perfect family before He can be present. He enters into your brokenness. He enters into your pain. He enters into your loneliness. That's what Christmas really means. So when you feel alone on Christmas, remember that God chose to be born in a stable. When you feel like your family is too broken, remember that Jesus grew up in a world of poverty and struggle. When you feel like you don't measure up to the perfect families on TV, remember that those perfect families never existed. Not even the Holy Family lived in comfort and ease. Now let's talk about the other pain you mentioned. The pain of time passing. The feeling that another year is ending and you haven't accomplished enough. The fear that you're getting older and your life is slipping away. This is also something Augustine understood deeply. Before his conversion, Augustine felt like he was wasting his life. He looked back at all the years he spent searching for pleasure and success, and he felt regret. He felt like he had lost so much time. But here's what Augustine discovered. God doesn't measure your life the way the world does. The world measures your life by accomplishments, by success, by what you achieved. But God measures your life by love, by how you grew closer to Him, by how you opened your heart to His grace. All those years Augustine spent searching, they weren't wasted. They led him to God. They taught him what doesn't satisfy so he could recognize what does. Even his mistakes, even his failures, even his years of running away from God, they all became part of his story. They all became part of how he learned to love God. So when you look back at this year and feel like you wasted time, remember this. Every moment of your life, even the difficult moments, even the moments when you felt lost, they all have meaning if you bring them to God. Nothing is wasted when you offer it to Him. Maybe you didn't accomplish everything you wanted this year. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe you feel like you're behind where you should be. But God doesn't see it that way. He sees a soul that He loves. He sees someone who is searching, someone who is struggling, someone who is trying, and that's what matters to Him. The fear of time passing is real. We are getting older. Years are going by. But Augustine discovered that time is not just about what we do. It's about who we become. And becoming someone who knows God, who loves God, who rests in God, that's worth more than any accomplishment the world can offer. So how do you actually do this? How do you transform your holiday loneliness into a moment of encounter with God? Let me give you some practical steps that come from Augustine's own experience. First, be honest with God about how you feel. Don't pretend. Don't try to be spiritual. Just tell Him the truth. Tell Him you feel empty. Tell Him you feel alone. Tell Him you're sad, you're disappointed, you're angry. Augustine's most famous book is called Confessions because he learned that honesty with God is the beginning of healing. God already knows how you feel, but He wants you to talk to Him about it. He wants you to share your heart with Him, so don't hide your pain. Bring it to Him. Say, God, I feel empty. I feel alone. I don't understand why my life is like this. Help me. Second, use this time of loneliness for prayer and silence. I know this sounds hard. When you're alone, the last thing you want is more silence. You want to distract yourself. You want to scroll through your phone, watch TV, do anything to not feel the emptiness. But Augustine discovered that silence is where God speaks. When all the noise stops, when all the distractions are gone, that's when you can hear God's voice. So instead of running from the loneliness, sit with it. Use it as a time to pray. Use it as a time to read the Bible. Use it as a time to just be with God. Third, remember that you're not alone even when you feel alone. Jesus said, I am with you always, until the end of the age. God is with you right now, even if you're by yourself on Christmas, even if your family is broken, even if you feel forgotten. God has not forgotten you. Augustine learned that God's presence is not something you feel. It's something you trust. Sometimes you feel close to God. Sometimes you don't feel anything at all. But God is there either way. His love doesn't depend on your feelings. It's constant. It's faithful. It's always there. Fourth, look for ways to serve others who are also alone. One of the best ways to transform your own loneliness is to reach out to someone else who is lonely. Is there someone you know who will be alone on Christmas? Can you call them? Can you visit them? Can you invite them to spend time with you? When you give love to others, you often discover that you're also receiving love. When you comfort others, you often find comfort yourself. This is the paradox of Christian life. We receive by giving. We find by losing ourselves in service to others. Let me tell you one more thing before we finish. Augustine's famous sentence about the restless heart. It's not just about pain, it's also about hope. Yes, your heart is restless. Yes, you feel empty. Yes, nothing in this world fully satisfies you. But that's actually a gift, because if you were satisfied with this world, you would never search for God. If earthly things could fill you completely, you would never look beyond them. Your restless heart is what keeps you searching. It's what keeps you asking questions. It's what keeps you longing for something more. And that longing is sacred. That longing is God's way of drawing you to Himself. Think of it this way. A fish feels restless when it's out of water. Not because something is wrong with the fish, but because the fish was made for water. You feel restless in this world because you were made for God. You were made for heaven. You were made for perfect love and perfect communion. This world, beautiful as it is not your final home. You're a pilgrim here, you're passing through. And that feeling of not quite belonging, that feeling that something is missing, that's actually your soul remembering where you came from and where you're going. Augustine spent years fighting against that restlessness. He tried to silence it. He tried to fill it with other things. But when he finally stopped fighting and listened to what his heart was really saying, he found God. And he found peace. So don't see your emptiness as a curse. See it as a compass. It's pointing you home. It's pointing you toward the only one who can truly satisfy you. Your restless heart is not your enemy. It's actually your friend, guiding you toward the love you were made for. So here we are, the holidays are here. Maybe your Christmas won't look like the commercials. Maybe your family is broken. Maybe you'll be alone. Maybe when midnight comes and everyone else is celebrating, you'll feel that familiar emptiness in your heart. But now you know what Augustine learned. That emptiness is not a sign of failure. It's not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you were made for something greater. It's your soul crying out for God, your imperfect Christmas. It might actually be more honest, more real, more meaningful than all those perfect-looking families on Instagram. Because in your brokenness, in your loneliness, in your pain, you have the opportunity to encounter God in a deeper way. You have the opportunity to let Him meet you exactly where you are. God doesn't need you to have it all together. He doesn't need you to have a perfect family or a perfect life. He just needs you to open your heart to Him. He just needs you to say, I'm here, I'm broken, I'm empty, fill me. And He will. He always does. Because He's the God who chose to be born in a stable, the God who enters into our brokenness, the God who loves us not despite our imperfections, but right in the middle of them. So this Christmas, instead of comparing your life to fantasies on TV, try something different. Bring your real life, with all its pain and loneliness and emptiness, to God. Talk to Him honestly. Sit with Him in the silence. Trust that He's with you even when you don't feel it. And remember Augustine's words. You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our heart is restless until it rests in you. Your restless heart is not a problem to solve. It's an invitation to come home, to the one who loves you more than you can imagine, to the one who's been waiting for you all along. You're imperfect. Christmas might just be the beginning of the most real, most honest, most beautiful relationship you've ever had, with the God who made your heart, with the God who knows exactly how to fill it. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please subscribe and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And leave a comment, tell me how you're feeling. You're not alone in this. Many of us are walking the same path. May God bless you this Christmas. May He fill your restless heart with His peace, and may you discover, like Augustine did, that the emptiness you feel is actually the beginning of the greatest love story of your life.